He's literally thinking of his answer while he talks. There's no part of me that believes that this was prepared.
Welcome to season 6, where we're phoning it in.
You don't think critically and then put a Pop-Tart into your body.
I am highly caffeinated and minorly concussed.
Aruga!
What came first, the love sack or the gravity gun?
It's my turn to do a sin with Sonic.
This is for the freaks.
Too much piss.
That's the kind of bad decisions we like to hear about.
Love me a sleepy ass bat.
How much shrimp can you fit in your mortal body?
You told me you guys would be cool.
That's season 6 intro material right there.
Hello and welcome to season 6 of Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how with James Gunn's hard work and a little bit of luck, we may still manage to avoid a few tragic DC movie releases this year.
Hey, do we know if any of the DC movies are coming out? Is that a thing that we know?
This has to be the most expensive roundabout way anyone has justified canceling a problematic movie. Was this all done just to get out of showing the Ezra Miller Flash?
That's an incredible conspiracy theory for us to spread around.
That is really
not
good.
that we're anybody, but we could just start saying that that's why they hired James Gunn.
You just have to tweet Eric Voss a bunch of times and then we'll get started. You know this is significant because my trainer today came up to me and he was like, "Hey, what's going on with DC?"
Well, so here's the
I don't
kicker.
know, man.
Talking about Ezra Miller, who sucks, they redid, so they did some extra shoots and they added in Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill, 2 scenes in Ezra Miller's Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And they've cut those scenes out of the final edit of the movie, apparently. So,
Cool.
I don't know how James Gunn doesn't pay out some crazy lawsuit because...
Oh, James Gunn won't pay a dime. Warner Brothers will.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. Because Ben Affleck was set to be a director for a Batman movie, and that's not happening.
Is the Flash movie still coming out?
I think it's gonna happen. And had you asked me at any point in time, months prior, I would have said absolutely not. But they did reshoots with Ezra Miller.
I think with the James Gunn announcement, it's done. I think we're saved from the Ezra Miller Flash movie.
I read that it's as dead as Black Adam.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, even then, the Rock statement was that, quote, Black Adam isn't in the initial plans for the DC universe. You can tell that they're like, hey, Dwayne, we're not, buddy, we're not going to use you. And he's like, oh, you're not going to use me yet. I get it.
Don't call us.
I
we'll
get
call
it.
you.
Yeah, big time Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber to be like, so you're saying there's a chance?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about DC anymore.
No, we're not doing that. Hey, Happy New Year, my guys. It's a new year here at Debate This headquarters.
Still here.
It's full of promise and limitless opportunities, as New Year's are. A new year, it often means a renewed outlook on life, and there's this chance to reinvent ourselves. A rebranding, if you will.
Listeners, you can't see it, but I watched Todd physically stop himself from saying New Year, New Me at least twice during that run-up.
You stopped me too early, Kyle. There's a good chance I would have said it before we're done. Well, hey, it's well known that we here at Debate This are the most sought-after group for branding, advertising, and PR purposes, which often that's one singular profession. One person does all 3 of those things for any company. A lot of people don't know that, but it's important that you know that, the listeners. Friends, I'm here to tell you that this year, 2023, we have a brand new client coming to us to help with their personal brand. And that client is the United States of America. So I need you to know that is right. Yes, questions, Matt?
Well, keep going. I'll hold my questions for the end. You may answer them. I don't know.
Well, in case you're going to ask, that is right. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. did call me directly to ask for help in rebranding the United States of America. And here's the thing. Specifically, he said that we need to choose a new color to help give the U.S. that bold, exciting facelift it's yearned for so long. It's a weird request. I get
Red, white,
that.
and blue was co-opted by the fascists.
Right, that's real fashy, and we're not doing that anymore.
Okay, wait, that's real fashy. I hate that. Okay.
It's so Raven, but bad. Worse.
Todd, That's the Breitbart version of That's So Raven. Todd, I want to believe you.
Yeah,
I want to
good.
believe that Joseph R. Biden, whose middle name I didn't know until today,
Romulus
called
Biden.
you and said that we needed to rebrand America. And I was hoping that you could convince me that you were telling the truth, perhaps by like reenacting that phone call. Can you tell me what
Oh,
it sounded
please.
like when Joseph Biden told you that
Joseph
we needed
Remus
to rebrand America,
Biden
please?
called you up.
Would you say Romulus the first time, Andrew? Joseph Romulus.
Reince Priebus Biden.
Joseph Reese's Pieces Biden, yes.
Joseph Romulus Biden is actually his evil twin from the future. Yeah, so he did call, and I picked up the phone. I said, "Hello, Todd's phone," as I do, and on the other side of the line, they said, "Hold for the president," and then they played the presidential march in the background, which is a strange thing to just have happen. Yeah, and I said, "All right," which at that point I was speaking to the background music, and he said, "Hey, pal, it's me, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. calling to say it's time to cut the malarkey, and it's time to rebrand America." And I said, "Oh, thank you, Mr. President. Hey, do you have time to talk about anything other than that thing you just told me about? I've got a lot of thoughts about how you can make things better." He said, "Nope, just that, pal. Get to cracking." And then he hung up. So that was what it was.
Honestly, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I just realized I've never done a Joe Biden impression. Hey, that's not the point. I need to move on with this. Any other questions, Matt? Can I keep going?
No, you're
We
great.
digress.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I've been convinced.
Cool. So in this call that I didn't tell you all the details about because that's the next paragraph of the opener, since we only tend to dabble in comics and video games here at DT HQ, it turns out that Joey B purposely sought us out, a top comedy podcast in Columbus, Ohio, because it turns out that his personal favorite entertainment system was the Nintendo 64. Which is fun, and I didn't know that's fun
That's
piece of
something
trivia.
I have in common
Joe
with
Biden
Joe Biden.
historically really, really loved Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, Diddy
Yeah.
Kong Racing and Mario Party, the original Mario Party.
It reminds him of his 70s.
It reminds him of his 70s.
Wait,
Him,
his
unpack
younger
that.
days.
Give me more.
Of his 70s.
Show your.
him and Barack played Diddy Kong Racing all the time.
Yeah.
I fully believe that's true.
Not only was the N64 his favorite entertainment system, he said that he specifically wants the US of A brand to be focused around the best color of N64 controller. Honestly, a weird coincidence, and an even more weird request, I know. But when POTUS asks for the best N64 controller color as decided by sound science and research that we do here, and he wants it to be used as a cornerstone color to be used from sea to shining sea, it's our patriotic duty to cut the malarkey and answer that very specific niche call.
Wow.
Heaven help whoever this is the first episode of the podcast for.
Yeah.
I read this 4 hours ago. I don't know what to do with this.
There's nothing to be done. Listen, when Joseph Biden calls you, you say, yes, sir, Joseph Biden. Romulus Biden. Anyway, joining me today in this conference room wearing suits with a very specific type of patriotic flair are Kyle Blastcore Harper, Andrew Jet Force Gemini Henderson, and Matt Mystical Ninja starring Gomon Cole.
Yeah, these are all good
This
games.
is solid.
Yeah.
They're just
A+.
really good N64 games.
Yeah.
It's nice that we started the year with nicknames we all understood. It sets a good level for us to slide down.
Foundational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue. More like red, white, and who?
Yeah.
Our country has a branding problem that obviously can only be solved by rooting its identity in the best color of N64 controller. So tell me, what color N64 controller should be the new cornerstone color for the United States? Kyle, we'll go ahead and start with you.
All right, Todd. Let me ask you this question first. What has been the Democratic Party's single driving force since the 2008 election? That's right. It's trying to recapture the prosperity and hopefulness of the 90s.
You didn't want me to answer that? You didn't actually want an answer?
The R in Joseph R. Biden stands for rhetorical.
Wait, Kyle, are you gonna tell me that the best color of N64 controller is doing just enough things so that I keep voting for him? Is that a color?
Please don't use my answer.
Or my answer.
Sorry, Kyle, continue.
So with that in mind, I want you to think back to what the mid-90s looked like. Everyone was wearing flannels. Young people were embracing trends that served as a rejection of the sterile and manufactured and problematic trends of the previous generation.
He says whilst wearing flannel.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kyle, you're wearing a flannel. I can see you on the call.
All under the focus of sustainability and awareness of the world and communities around us. Now, I don't know what you guys see, but my market research, my For You page on TikTok, tells me that that's all coming back. Midwest emo is basically just grunge. The studio blockbuster is starting to face pushback in favor of more diverse and accessible market of smaller projects and homages to classics. And what is the crypto crash if not an echo of what happened in the .com era? So I'm here to tell you all why we need to embrace this cycling of trends and get out in front of it on our own by bringing back the only thing missing from this return to the 90s, atomic purple Nintendo products.
That was quite the landing, Kyle.
Yeah.
Any landing you can walk away from, Todd.
Out of everything, the last 4 words is where you actually answered my question, and that's my favorite thing you did.
Most famously featured on the N64, Nintendo also released a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance in atomic purple because of its wide popularity and because it looks sick as hell. Might I also suggest, though, that this touches on the returning cultural elements from the era as well. In the 90s as well as today, we were culturally interested in how things worked. We were pulling back the curtain on government, on systems. How It's Made was a very popular show at the time. The list goes on and on. The atomic purple shell reflects that. Yes, you had an N64 with the same plastic molded shell that everyone else got, but an atomic purple owner knew there was more going on inside that. You got to look in and see what your favorite console really was, just some chips and wires. You got the experience Nintendo wanted you to have, but you saw through the corporate BS. Gentlemen, I propose that if the 90s were back, but better, then so is this mentality, and so should Atomic Purple.
I want to say something at risk of saying something that can be a joke for all 3 of your answers, potentially. Atomic Purple is my favorite flavor of Gatorade.
That is okay, I looked at the list of N64 controllers.
Are they all Gatorade flavors?
Do you know how
Yeah.
closely
Yeah.
they run with the Gatorade flavors? Ice Blue
There's
is
Ice
one of
Blue,
the colors.
there's Fire Orange.
There's Frost, I think, is
That
Yeah,
tracks because
there's
Gatorade
Frost.
hasn't updated its flavor names since about the mid-90s.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Listen, Kyle, I have a lot of issues with your choice. I'm going to save the telling of those issues for my answer, but I need to state right here and now, Atomic Purple is a fucking sick color. It's just a bad answer to this question.
Atomic Purple is the Tetris straight piece of N64.
Yes, it is
color controllers.
absolutely the chump answer.
Yeah,
No.
This is the chump
answer.
answer.
Disagree.
No.
Hard disagree.
I was trying to remember. So, like, I had an Atomic Purple controller, and I was trying to remember. Like, I remember I had, like, my green controller I got for my birthday. The other ones I got, it's the pack-ins. Like, I do not remember where I got that Atomic Purple controller. I have no idea. I cannot remember
lot of people
ever
had
opening
one.
it. They just materialized.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, like, somebody left it at my house, and it just
It was
showed
like
up.
Frampton Comes Alive in the 70s. If you grew up in the suburbs, you had that album. If you grew up in the suburbs in the 90s, you had an Atomic Purple Nintendo device of some kind. That's why it's the right answer.
Wow.
It's because it was
Incredible.
a pack-in with the N64. That's why everybody had one.
Was it a pack-in?
Not in, like, the original
Like in later
N64
bundles.
release, but it was a later pack-in.
I found the golden N64 from GoldenEye, which made me at least see there's one that is not a Gatorade flavor.
You don't know. There could be gold Gatorade.
Can
I don't
Can
know.
I do my thing
You've
now?
never had the Gatorade flavored
Okay.
golden shower, Todd?
Kyle, gross. Kyle, thank you for the nostalgia that you brought to us so far. Andrew, why don't you go ahead and pitch what color you think we need to use to rebrand America?
So, much like Joe Biden's presidency compared to his vice presidency, my answer is different, but pretty much the same thing. So, in late 1998, Nintendo released a limited edition Game Boy Pocket exclusively through Toys R Us that was only available in the US, and it was called the Extreme Green series. Extreme Green.
Boy.
It was the only other transparent Game Boy Pocket, and when I say transparent, much like Kyle's Atomic Purple, it's the, like, the plastic case that's kind of clear but still kind of foggy, and you can see some, like, bits and bobs inside. The Extreme Green Game Boy Pocket was only one of 2 of these like transparent ones. And then they blew out the transparent thing with Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Advance. The first one to do it, there was like a clear one that came out in mid-90s. Doesn't matter. Most importantly, this Extreme Green Game Boy Pocket was the first Game Boy your boy ever owned and allowed me to finally begin my very first Pokemon journey. So I have a lot of affinity to it. That same year, Toys R Us released an N64 controller under that same Extreme Green limited edition series, which followed the transparent color scheme that you see in, like Matt mentioned, the Gatorade Frost flavor and the Fire Engine orange flavor. Now, just like its Game Boy counterpart, the Extreme Green controller was also only available in the US and for a short amount of time in late 1998. So, ergo, due to the nature of its limited release and overall radness, which is a scientific definition, the Extreme Green N64 controller is the most valuable N64 controller that was available for like normal retail price. That is true. You can go onto any collector site. Extreme Green is the most expensive, higher than the gold, most expensive non-promotional, non-like labeled one.
Okay, fine.
Check my
It's
math.
a lot of writers on that one.
Well, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's an MLB ass stat. Right
I mean, there are like 13 controller colors, so it is the most elusive of all of the normal controller colors. That's not a weird thing to say.
Andrew, you have fallen for a common trap that the Democratic Party also falls for. And that is you are appealing to the loud 1%. As opposed to
therefore
the people, the 99%.
The defense rests. The Extreme Green controller is the best and obviously better transparent variant to the ubiquitous Atomic Purple that everyone had, and that answer is super boring. It is the Tetris long piece. I rest my case, and everyone clapped.
Andrew.
Yes, Matt.
Just to be clear, Extreme Green is the best answer because it's your favorite. That's your argument, right?
I said,
and it's not the one
rests.
Everyone had and loved. It's
These
the
are
one
both...
no one had. Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to double down on that.
That is probably the most thorough argument I've ever made on this show. So yes.
I have been taking notes of what you've presented so far, and I do want to say Andrew also brought in the measure of radness. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I don't know where everyone lands on the rad. I know, I'm
sick
just
as
saying.
hell is
that's fair.
Yes.
On the radness scale, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Atomic is actually under extreme.
I don't think so.
Not according to Quaker Steak and Lube. No, Atomic is on top. The only thing above Atomic is triple Atomic.
That was really good.
All right. So we've got an Atomic Purple. We've got Extreme Green. Matt, what have you brought here to us today in this really nice conference room where we're all wearing suits?
Friends, we've talked a lot about the haves of the 90s. Those who were blessed enough to game with an Atomic Purple controller in hand, or perhaps those sick enough to game in Extreme Green. But the reality, Todd and members of the jury, council, exec, government.
Well, there's 3 branches of government. It's judicial, legislative, and executive.
Fine, whatever. Is that the 90s had plenty of have-nots. In fact, in the desolate decade that followed Reaganomics, I would say that the development of the 1% from the 99% may have begun right there at the impetus of the N64 release. Now, when it comes to rebranding America, it may be flashy and attractive to consider my opponent's answers, but I need to ask you, Todd, does that really represent the America of today?
He's literally thinking of his answer while he talks. There's no part of me that believes that this was prepared.
I mean,
Matt has a list of the colors open on his screen, and when he gets to the point where he has to say one of the names, he's going to pick one.
I will add, to give Matt time to think of his answer, that there were parts of the 90s that were both rad and extreme, so at least they might be partially right, Matt.
I have to say, for the record, this paragraph is the only thing I have written for today, so this is the prepared part. Anyway, to disagree with you, Todd, I think not. I think the America of today is made of people who yearn for a simpler time. A time when home console gaming was so accessible that you didn't even have to be home to do it. A time when two parents could abandon their 10-year-old son in the electronics section of their local Walmart to stare up at an 83-degree angle, which certainly caused permanent neck damage, to mash away on a broken N64 controller playing some 10-minute demo. A time when that same boy could continue mashing on a broken N64 controller at the orthodontist office or even the daycare built into the giant eagle. And you know what, Todd? All of those controllers that I mashed upon, all of those controllers were gray.
Wow.
Oh.
The original N64 controller came in 6 colors: gray, black, red, green, yellow, and blue. If you want to come in here and say that you're going to rebrand America, that's fine. But it best be based on a culture we can value and a culture we can all look back upon. And that culture and color is gray.
Wow, we have gone full circle to Green Yoshi is best Yoshi here.
I didn't know we were going to go with the like purist angle, like the originalist. You're an original textual reader of the Constitution, Matt. You go by the literal letter.
That's a letter of the law, not the spirit of the law type of answer.
The answer to this question is gray. That's it, man. Like we already established, gray can't be a chump answer because atomic purple is the chump answer.
We'd have not established that atomic purple is the chump.
did
answer.
establish
Time out.
that.
Yeah, and
No.
Samuel Alito's favorite color controller is the gray one.
Jesus.
Two people with wrong answers do not get to determine that atomic purple is the chump answer, Matt. I'm sorry.
It's quorum.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely quorum.
It's at best half.
Listen. In presenting your arguments, we do need to move on. We've got many different ways to evaluate what you've presented here today, and I do want to move on to the next question. Land of the free, more like bland of the free.
Excellent. Good job.
That pun's been typed out for 5 hours. Now, as we all know, no large-scale rebrand can be complete without a big rollout and placing it just directly into people's lives. So tell me, in what ways can we implement this bold color just directly into American society? You know, what aspects of everyday life will just be enhanced because of this brand new and bold, rad, extreme, gray color swap? Atomic.
See, you're already
Extreme
thinking about
gray.
it. I like it.
Well, Todd, I'm glad you asked, because what else is going to get the American public like on board with this rebrand than every required government document or ID or thing you have to present issued by the government came to you in atomic purple.
Atomic purple. All right.
Think of how awesome it would be as you go to fill out, how much better doing your taxes would be as you fill out your 1099 on an atomic purple like sheet of paper instead of just boring old white. Or every time you have to present your driver's license, if you got out this cool atomic purple card instead of your bog standard like white print with a tiny like hollow foil on it. Your passport, atomic purple cover on your passport, Todd. We're going to make every required government document, state and federal, atomic purple.
So many
across
motherboards.
America. We're going to see all the motherboards.
I'm just thinking about like the carbon copy paper, but like it's atomic purple.
It's atomic purple now. To go on that, to get all of the people like issuing these documents like really hyped up, we are going to do a full like bureaucratic infrastructure update as well. Every computer that a government employee works on is also going to be atomic purple, Todd.
Right.
That is what I am offering to you today. Atomic purple, the people's color.
Government work, but make it atomic purple.
Precisely.
Kyle, I just want to congratulate you on being the first person to ever say the words hype and bureaucratic restructure in the same sentence. That was wild.
Kyle's playing his own game.
You guys are just here.
You are not the first I'm not congratulating you on being the first person to say, let's change the color and keep everything else the same.
Yeah. I do take issue with you calling atomic purple the people's color. I do. I
don't care what you think. I know what answer you brought today, and your opinion doesn't
the
matter
correct
to me.
one. Yeah, you're
Nope.
right.
It's the people's color, like how Old Navy is the voice of a generation.
Yeah, I mean it's
Sure. You can act like that's a good answer, Andrew, but people shop at Old Navy.
Yeah.
We've all worn the American flag shirt in the 90s.
We've all worn
from
that
Old Navy.
American flag shirt.
I'm not trying to help Kyle. I'm trying to
Extreme
defend
green.
myself.
Sure.
Extreme green, rarest color of Nintendo controller. 1%, Andrew. Get out of here.
No, see, I agree with you there, Andrew. Absolutely,
let's
1%.
pile on,
Kyle,
sure.
you
Yep.
and I can level on that.
Okay.
However,
when we flip, that's fine. Keep going.
I think by saying we all wore the American flag T-shirt from Old Navy in the 90s, that makes that one gray.
I disagree.
I don't follow your logic, but I like what you said.
Matt, what was the first gray Nintendo product? The NES. That's 80s.
Game
We're
Boy-
trying to bring back the spirit of the 90s here. Atomic purple is the people's color of the 90s.
It's my turn to answer now. It's mine. I want to talk about.
All right,
Game Boy.
Andrew, how are you going to just ram jam extreme green into the lives of every day-to-day American?
Well, let me set up my answer and do 80% of what Kyle just did, but in a different way. Okay.
Which is most of what extreme green is
Yes.
anyway.
Yes. Both with its style and the nature of its limited release, Extreme Green represents the days gone by that are 1998. Now, this is where it's different. I'm doing a 1998 thing specifically. By the time of its release to a Toys R Us near you, James Cameron had forever redefined aquatic sexual tension the first time with his masterpiece Titanic.
Who defined aquatic sexual tension the first time, Andrew?
I said this.
No, that was
the
his first time.
Yeah, I was
he did it.
referencing-
He did it again.
I was referencing the Avatar movie as the second time.
Okay.
Did that define aquatic sexual tension? I haven't seen the
wasn't it-
Avatar movie,
I don't know. I've
but
never seen
I
that
don't
movie.
know.
Just is it about water?
Also, what is the sentence you just said?
Anyway, in addition, the gaming world was preparing itself for a 3D block-pushing revolution in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and Britney Spears' smash hit Baby One More Time was playing in every jukebox. There's something about the good old days that just seems simpler, easier.
I don't like that you referenced Britney Spears' Baby One More Time as like simpler times. Like you could have like referenced a lot of different things, and that was
Sorry, am I wrong?
I don't know, man.
There's something deeper, though, that Extreme Green represents. Now look at the design. Just look at it.
The deeper thing is wanting to be atomic purple, but it's not.
It's like Atomic Purple. But I'm more talking about the transparency, because you can look at it and you say, okay, yeah, this controller is transparent, but is it really? Right? Like, sure, you might
Wait.
be able to see... like some bits and bobs, parts of the motherboard through the plastic casing, but it's not like you can actually look at or could like pick apart the guts of the controller. And you surely wouldn't be able to just like easily open up the case of the controller and pull out all the components and, piece it back together as a working thing. It's just a different coat of paint made to fool the user into thinking it's transparent when it is really not. And that, my friends, is the core of this bold new branding direction that I think the entire Biden team can appreciate, which is, of course, delaying the real problems while reassuring people that everything is okay over Twitter.
Good.
Perfect.
Yep, you brought me back. Well done.
Look,
I'm in.
solving the big problems like our healthcare system or climate change is hard. It's gonna take decades, if not longer, of incremental, nuanced improvements and constant fighting, which will make a lot of people feel like one step forward and two steps back. But Extreme Green? No. Green is synonymous with tranquility, with relaxation, with numbness.
Not with extreme in front of it.
Hold on, what was
Extreme-
that last one?
Numbness. Todd, you work hard every day.
Debatable. Continue.
You work every day. You're so tired just all the time. Just head on over that couch and shove this new Indiana Jones movie in your eyes. Don't worry. We got the same guy. No Shia LaBeouf or alien skulls in sight. Don't concern yourself with the looming inevitability of melting ice caps. We got a new Superman coming, and we think you're gonna like him.
What?
Hey, Hey,
Extreme
Andrew,
green. Welcome.
what did you actually replace with the color of the controller?
It's a branding campaign. I didn't really understand the prompt.
Oh man.
I
Perfect.
rest my case.
He's not actually gonna make anything extreme green. We're just gonna tell everyone extreme green is coming.
Yeah.
And then back off.
And then, well, and I'm gonna pay it off in the next prompt, but we haven't gotten there yet.
All right. So I've got government documents and I've got numbness.
Pretty much.
Matt, what are you, to restate this again, in what ways are we implementing this bold color into American society?
First off, I just wanted to let you know that if you have both government documents and numbness, I think you're entitled to compensation.
Yeah. that's
Second,
true.
Todd, gray is a color that brings people together, and I have great news for you, Todd.
You have great news for me?
Yeah, my dude, they're actually already implementing the color gray into government structures right now
No,
today.
you don't get to claim
This is-
that
no.
every gray, boring government thing is a part of your plan already.
You don't even
Because
know what
it's
I'm going to
not
say.
a plan.
You don't know
I
what
do
I'm
know
gonna
what
say.
you're going to say, Matt.
What am I going to
do
say?
know what you're
Kyle?
You're
going to say.
Tell me
inventing
what I'm gonna say.
communism.
I'm
That's what
not
you're doing.
inventing communism. You
You're
can't put that
inventing
shit on me.
communism.
Oh, yes, dance for me, monkeys.
Listen,
You're gonna
Todd,
say every government building should look the same and be slate gray, like the Soviet Union satellite states. That's what you're gonna say.
that's not at all. I have three examples that I'm gonna give, and none of them involve Soviet satellite states or gray government buildings, although there are already a lot of those. No, I'm talking about a recent change that the government has made to implement the color gray into our everyday lives. Todd, I assume that you have been able to board an airplane in the last couple of years, which means you have probably gotten a new, updated, and certified driver's license. Am I correct?
I have. It's
Now you may notice. Shut up! I'm still talking. Now you may
It's
notice.
the one that's
Sorry,
going to be
sorry.
atomic purple in a few months when we roll out this campaign. Yeah.
Your picture no longer comes in color on that nice new driver's license of yours. It now comes.
Yeah. See,
black and
this
white.
is what I knew you were going to do, Matt.
This sucks.
It doesn't suck. It's really good. Okay, so driver's license is already gray.
That's a pretty good argument to make.
Fair.
Thing number 2, brings people together. No more arguing over tan suits. Todd, everybody's suits are gray.
And there's Andrew's communism angle. We both predicted what you were going to say, Matt.
And example number 3. This is the important one. There have been so many arguments about how we handle immigration in this country. I think one of the biggest points of
Go
argument
on.
No, let him dig this hole for himself, Andrew. Just
is the stress of getting a green card. Now imagine
The extreme
we
green card.
change it to a gray card, much less intimidating than an extreme green card, I would say myself. Gray in the government.
Matt, let me ask you a real question here.
Yeah.
Do you think green cards are literally green?
I think he thinks green cards are literally
Absolutely
green.
not. I don't. Outside of the bit, no, I know what a green card is. Inside of the bit, of course they're green. Kyle,
Yeah.
haven't you seen
Yeah.
one? I've seen a green card.
So, Matt, I realize that I didn't make an argument and I don't have any legs to stand on, but I do want to clarify. You are basically doing the same thing that Kyle did and saying just color everything gray. Is that
No,
true?
no,
or-
I'm saying
true or
we've
false?
already colored most things gray.
Oh, so don't change anything.
He's taking credit for how boring
Got
bureaucracy
it.
already is. I'm trying to revitalize bureaucracy.
Kyle
Todd.
wants to change one thing and keep everything else the same. Matt's saying no, keep everything the same.
Everybody knows that the real success with an American presidency comes from claiming the things the last person did. That's how it works. So
But
everybody
no
else
one
already changed
did
everything
anything
to gray.
to make stuff gray.
Somebody had to
It's-
pick. That was a
it's-
conscious decision. They could have printed it on
Oh, you're yelling.
different paper. I had to move my mic farther away.
I feel like we, if anything today, Todd, I'm going to speak
Yeah.
on behalf of the other two hosts. If anything
I'm sure they'll
today,
like that. Continue.
I'm just saying, well, we have definitely represented the feel and the authenticity of Joseph Ripto's Rage Biden's campaign. We really just embodied the entire organization collectively.
Oh. All right. I've got my third question.
Okay.
Let freedom ring. More like let freedom bring me a better color scheme. Am I right?
Why did you say let freedom bling? That would have been better.
No.
He's right. It would have been better.
No, it's
Not
not.
to
Moving
agree with
on.
my two opponents, but yeah.
you.
All right, well, there's only one way to get all Americans to buy into a wide sweeping campaign. It's just proven in history, and that is with a catchy slogan pushed by a beloved and trusted public figure. So tell me, what will be your wide sweeping campaign? Who is the face of it? And if so, driven to do so, share any catchy slogan that you may pair with it. We'll go ahead and start with Kyle in Atomic Purple.
All right, Todd. So, what are we trying to do here with Atomic Purple? We're trying to bring back the optimism of the 90s into the American government.
Boy, we were so optimistic.
You know what other optimistic 90s star is having a comeback right now, Todd? That's right. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is going to be the face of the Atomic Purple rollout for the rebranding of America. And here's how I propose we do that, Todd. We're going to have an ad campaign run where everyone they're filling out their same boring gray documents.
Got him.
And they can't do it anymore. They can't keep up. And Brendan Fraser's going to come in and be like, no, you don't have to do that anymore. We can do better. And hand out to everyone their new Atomic Purple IDs, their new Atomic Purple documents. Their tax returns are going to come back on Atomic Purple checks, and it's all going to be handed out by Brendan Fraser. And our catchphrase is going to be, in a whitewashed world, be atomic.
That has really bad implications.
No, it doesn't.
I love that you've chosen to make government documents Atomic Purple, because now the mental image is literally Brendan Fraser passing out tax returns and saying, this is for you. This is a physical check. It's you filed your I-99 wrong, so you actually don't get yours yet.
That's the Q1 plan, is the ad campaign. Q2, we're going to film Brendan Fraser going to different houses across America and physically bringing people their tax returns on those Atomic Purple checks. And we're going to get shots of big smiling faces. We're going to have giant novelty Atomic Purple checks for this part of it, Todd. It's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to love it because, again, Atomic Purple, the people's color, and not super boring and gray.
I have a question. I have my hand raised.
Yeah, you with the hand.
Yep. How do you make a distinction with a two-dimensional object, whether it is atomic purple or normal light purple?
Yeah, same question.
You're going to be able to see through it.
You can see the wires in the motherboard, Andrew.
It through the check? Okay.
Printing has
the
gotten
check.
more sophisticated. There's
Sure.
going to be watermarks that resemble the
Oh, okay. So you're just making
the-
up technology that could support that.
So, are you just changing the type of paper and we're printing the color onto it?
No, it's we're making Atomic Purple paper, Matt.
You're just
we
gonna
have
do
10
that.
men on it.
What he's saying
Wow,
is
you're
that
really-
Brendan Fraser is an Atomic Purple paper maker.
A one-eyed, one-horned
looks-
atomic purple paper
It sure looks
Look,
good to
Todd,
me.
I am not claiming Brendan Fraser is making the Atomic Purple paper. He is the face of Atomic Purple, though.
All right. Andrew, tell me who is the face of your extreme green color push here in the United States?
Fuck. Excuse me. To really embody the calm and tranquility that is extreme green, we need a spokesperson that can make anyone feel comfortable. Someone who's definitely not subversive, but is just universally liked. But not too much that they could one day be unlikable. And who better than star of 1998's highest rated network drama ER, George Clooney?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, no one's as loved as the worst Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, fair
He's
point.
not the worst
actually.
Batman. He's the
Who's
don't
the
know.
worst Batman then?
We already dunked on Ben Affleck in this episode. We can't get him again.
George Clooney is going to be the face of the new extreme green America. Don't worry, we got this campaign. To follow along the theme of obscured transparency, the ad campaign is going to mention a very real-world issue to start building some tension, but then quickly ease off that tension by shifting direction and announcing some new entry in an already beloved television franchise. So here's an example of how the first ad would go. So this is Clooney talking. I wrote a script. I always write a script. Just a few weeks ago, a cold snap blew across the country in the span of a day and left thousands of Americans without power. And this certainly isn't the first time extreme weather brought on by global climate change has led to rolling blackouts across many of our great cities. But hey, you're just one person. You do what you can to conserve energy. You turn off the lights in rooms you don't go in, and you always turn your thermostat off when you know you'll be gone for a few days. Anyway, do you remember that 70s show? Remember how you used to watch it in syndication when you did your homework after school? And you always used to compare the characters to that show to you and your own group of friends? Well, did you know they're bringing it back? That's right. Starting this month, you can see that 90s show streaming directly on Netflix. And that's where these turn into ads for your favorite rebooted TV shows. That's right. The Don't Worry We Got This campaign is not trying to lie to you or ignore the problems. It's just trying to supplant those problems with lovable characters from your childhood. I'll take questions now. You first, Kyle.
Yes, I have a question. Again, what is going to be made atomic green here in this plan?
It's the color of the ad campaign. It's green. It's all green. What else do you do with a color? How do you... I'm not.
Well, it sounds like we're making government documents out of atomic purple.
Yeah. I brought an answer to the
I did too.
table today.
The question was make a branding campaign. It's not my fault Todd doesn't know what branding and advertising is.
Okay, listen. I have studied thoroughly in public relations, advertising, and the third thing I said at the beginning.
Yeah,
and
the
I will
thing
not
where
be
you make
slandered.
Yeah, marketing, where the thing that everybody
That
makes
one,
their
yeah.
own weird paper. I know.
Yeah.
I made a branding campaign. It's extreme grade branding campaign. It's talking about reboots. Go shut up and watch the new Indiana Jones. I don't give a fuck. Next person. Eat my ass.
Oh, no one's excited for that 90s show. Matt, it's your turn.
Todd, we needed spokespeople who could really bring America together. We needed spokespeople who would not only give the message to those we know are tuned into the government, but would also spread that message by pulling in people who may not be tuned into the government. That's what you want from a spokesperson. You want your spokesperson, I'm telling this to you, an advertising professional, but you want your spokesperson.
Thank you.
Decorated advertising professional.
Yeah. Captain Advertising.
4-star advertising. Anyway, you want your spokesperson to be somebody who brings people in. And you know what, Todd? All Americans love jacking off. Everybody's heard of 50 Shades of Grey, and nobody out there isn't going to be interested when we bring Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan, stars of the acclaimed film adaptation of the esteemed American sextuplet of novels, the 50 Shades series, out on stage to let America know that we are going to make America gray again.
Oh, fuck you, Matt.
He did it again. He wrote it backwards. He did it again.
How did we not see this coming?
He can't keep getting away with this.
So yeah, it's gonna be those two white people from the 50 Shades movies, and
right?
Yeah.
No, I get
What was that bit about everyone loves jacking off? Touch on that real quick.
Circle back to that.
So my
I feel like you
I've
glazed over
never.
that.
My idea is that everybody knows that the 50 Shades movies exist, but I have to believe that most people haven't seen them. But I'm guessing if we bring out Jamie Dornan, whose name I didn't know until today.
I love that you have to keep
call.
shifting your eyes to the IMDb to get the name right. Yeah.
And Dakota Johnson, whose name I did know before today, and we say the stars of 50 Shades of Grey, everybody's gonna be like, well, that's the movie about sex. I want to see what they have to say.
About fucking.
You immediately lost the entire evangelical
But those people are
subsection.
tuned into the government. They'll hate watch it, Kyle, and you know it'll be on Fox News. It'll get there.
I'm gonna stand with Matt on this one. That like the most conservative members of my family have read 50 Shades of Grey. It was a very disturbing Easter that we all found that out. But now you have to know that I know that.
I too remember that holiday. Let's continue.
Also, did you guys know there are 6 of those books?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why you don't know the actor's name, Jamie something Dornan, is that they needed an actor who was hot and like a C-level actor, but not too high of an actor because he had to show his peen. And they needed to make sure it was an actor whose peen could be shown.
Does he show his peen in that movie?
Is there peen in those?
You don't
I think
know.
he
You
shows-
don't
I think
see
he-
it.
I've seen the first one. I think you see Hog.
There's got it.
Actually, I don't know how many there are.
Because I know Dakota Johnson is like full nude in that movie. So like, how could you have your star actress in there full nude and not show a little bit of peen?
The patriarchy.
Right.
That's how.
The
Yeah.
patriarchy.
What Andrew said.
That's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be it's make America great again. There you go.
Cool.
I hate that Matt got away with it, like to this far. That we didn't.
I thought you guys were gonna call me on it. I thought first
Right.
question you guys were gonna shoot me down.
I gave you too much credit, and I thought you were going the communist angle.
That's
Right.
what it was. We thought you were
Right.
better than that, Matt.
Yeah,
We
you're
overestimated you.
Bad news, Kyle.
The best thing that has happened here so far today is that in our silly
Atomic
podcast
Purple
about
documents, yes.
well, that's one would argue that of the three of you. But what I was going to say is that in this silly podcast about comic books and video games, I've somehow trapped my three best friends to also talk about politics. And I've combined everything that I love into one podcast today unknowingly to everyone else who's part of it.
Except we haven't talked about 90 Day Fiancé yet.
Well, post show. Got to leave something for the post
There's
show.
still a super secret bonus question, Andrew.
Going on, land that I love, more like land that I love to find better and more hip colors for. I used the three good ones to start. So we do have a super secret bonus question. I was talking to Joey B, and he was just kind of giving me a heads up on what I can expect here. And so, much like anything that comes from the federal government / this administration that is meant to improve common folks' lives, he just wants us to know that our efforts will ultimately and largely be ignored and then stonewalled by an opposing party during a leadership transition. And so because of that very real possibility, we are only going to make this work if we link this rebrand to a government spending bill, because that's the only way we can guarantee the funding stays constant. So I need you to tell me what critical government operation or department is going to become synonymous with your color of N64 controller. And they're going to have to incorporate into their whole and complete identity and everything they do, because that's the only way we're going to get that funding to continue. And I'll take your answer after this special break.
I need to pause Spotify because I've been listening to this album. It's this new punk album that I've really been into. And part of the reason that I've really been into it is because near the back half of the album, it's like 13 or 14 songs, like 11 or 12 is a slower song. It's not like punk like the rest of it. It's I can't remember the word. It's like in the 80s they would do a slow song on hair metal albums that it was like just the singer and an acoustic guitar. Kyle, help me with
A power ballad?
Yes, Kyle, I love a clean ball ad, and that is why support for this podcast is brought to you by Manscaped TM, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you and everybody else listening to me and my three best friends talk about our balls. 20% off.
Best friends is a little much.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Three people I know talking about our balls.
That's better.
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code debate this, all one word, at manscaped.com. And if my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls.
I have been using the Crop Preserver, the ball deodorant, since we've gotten these packages, and I haven't had swamp ass in like a week. It's great.
It's for your balls. Have you been putting it in your ass
Area.
It's
It's the
the
gooch,
whole
the taint, the grundle, the fleshy fun bridge?
yeah. It's the whole region gets swampy, and it's been significantly less so.
We should also, I think, be clear that what we got from Manscaped was not just the Lawnmower 4.0, but it was the 4.0 performance package, which not only has the lawnmower, also has the weed whacker ear and nose hairs trimmer, the first trimmer I've ever put in my nose.
My ear and nose have never been so clear. Like, incredible.
the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver Toner, Performance Boxer Briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goods that I will say is nicer than the last 3 toiletry kits.
Then
I
the
got
last
for
bag you
Christmas.
put your nuts in?
I will choose not to comment on the bags in which I place my nuts.
Okay.
Here's one more that I didn't notice until I looked again. The paper they put in there is to lay out on the ground to catch your trimmings.
Oh.
It's not just a ball-related
I
newspaper.
thought that was just
That's
a
meant to catch your
ball-related
trimmings.
newspaper.
I threw away the ball-related newspaper.
I also threw away the ball. I
Well, joke's on you
I do
guys.
a weird plie over my toilet like a regular man. But
Yeah.
what I do honestly really love about the Lawnmower 4.0 is that it is waterproof and you can use it in the shower. I don't, because my shower is small and that's less comfortable.
And you
I
can't
cannot
plie in the shower.
I can't spread my knees in the shower. So I need the extra air of plieing over a toilet. But it is waterproof, which is pretty tight.
It's got a headlight on it. I don't really know at what points you're gonna super need that,
Are
but it's
you
got a
kidding
headlight
me?
on it.
This okay.
It does. The headlight, no, hardcore. Real talk, the headlight is quite an ad because like it's a grundle light. You get a grundle light.
Dude, as a husky muffin topped man, there is no way
Go on.
to ensure proper lighting of my nuts when I shave them. There's always a shadow unless
Yeah.
I like underlight my balls with a ring light and then I'm gonna go blind. So the added headlight is seriously like my favorite part.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Did anyone like their performance boxers?
They're good.
Mine are in the laundry right now. I haven't worn them yet.
Yeah.
They're boxer briefs, and I
Yep.
started wearing boxer briefs after college, after a trip to New York, a very hot trip to New York in the summer. And that was the last time I bought boxer briefs there, and that was the last time I ever chafed.
You know what would have come in real handy in that hot New York summer?
Ball deodorant.
The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant.
The Crop Preserver
yes.
Ball
Mhm.
Deodorant. Yes,
Mhm.
that's true. I mean, that's terrifically true. What else is true is that right now you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code DEBATETHIS. DEBATETHIS. 2 words that I've been spelling for 6 years and still had to write down to make sure I spelled them right. Debate this, all one word, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code DEBATETHIS, all one word. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped TM.
All right, so we are back with some answers to our super secret bonus question. What critical government operation, department, what team is going to become synonymous with your N64 controller color, and how are you going to incorporate it into its identity? We'll start off with Kyle and your atomic purple.
Yes, Todd. I love our plan for this atomic purple rollout because the government agency we have chosen to drench in atomic purple checks a lot of boxes for the JRB administration. With this decision, we are going to correct the sins of a past president, look forward to our hopeful future, and to the stars, perhaps. And also, it's a military agency, so it's guaranteed to pass through both houses with like 80% support because it's going to be military funding. That's right, Todd. We are going to make atomic purple the color of Space Force, the brand new branch of the military.
Great.
Can't tell me that an atomic purple spacecraft is not perfectly on theme. You can't tell me everyone in America isn't going to be super excited to see atomic purple space shuttles flying in through our atmosphere. We are working right now on getting atomic purple uniforms for every Space Force member, atomic purple camo. You can't see them in space because we all know
camo.
purple is the color of space.
Right.
And we need camo to match that. Atomic purple, the color of Space Force, Todd.
Can you show your work on We All Know That Space is Purple?
Have you ever been to space?
Have you been to space, Todd?
All right. Well, if the next two say everyone knows space is extreme green and everyone knows space is gray, then we're going to have to figure some shit out.
That last one might be kind of accurate.
They won't, Todd, because, like I said, everyone knows the color of space is purple.
To Matt's statement, I will give you Andrew's question. Have you been to space?
You can't confirm that I haven't.
Andrew,
Yeah, so I think the obvious answer here is the Department of Parks and Recreation, not just because of the green connection, but more importantly, I think Parks and Recreation definitely also fits the vibe of the obvious branding campaign that I'm going for, which is, hey, like, yeah, healthcare is a nightmare and a lot of people are houseless, but like paddle boats.
Now, Andrew, I'll argue the last big win for the Parks and Recreation Department was the last president. That wasn't a JRB win.
Didn't he expand drilling into national parks a bit?
Could you argue that the infrastructure bill is good for Parks and Recreation, though?
Yeah, I don't know what was in it.
I could
yeah.
if I wanted to.
Have
lose
you
this
read the Parks?
competition.
Have you read the infrastructure bill?
You can't prove that he hasn't.
Yeah, it's like the color of space. No one's actually seen
No
it.
one
To
knows.
know.
No one knows.
Perfect. And Matt.
Yeah, Todd, I really like something that Kyle said, and I'm actually planning something similar. I want to push this spending bill through on a military budget. That is the only way to get guaranteed bipartisan support. Todd, we are actually going to be working with the United States Air Force, but not the Air Force as a whole, specifically one highly classified facility that is controlled by the Air Force, and that's Area 51. Because when you think of Area 51, what do you think about but a little gray alien? Little gray alien running about. So
I think of how no one's actually seen it. No one's actually seen it.
No one knows the color
It's one of the
of
lowest
gray aliens.
profile government facilities. Go ahead and make it the
you
face
can't
of your
prove that I
campaign.
haven't. I might have been at that Facebook event. You don't know.
No, but guys, he's right. Area 51 is the people's agency.
Truly.
Mhm.
I would argue that the people of the internet know more about how Area 51 works than how the Department of Parks and Recreation works. And I'm going to leave that sentence there, and you can take it for what it's worth.
I don't like that sentence at all. I don't have the energy or the patience to argue with you right now, but I don't like that sentence.
The internet famously right about everything. Famously an accurate transference to real life.
Well, you all have given me plenty of rock solid, concrete ideas to take back to Joseph R. Biden Jr. III. And so before I take those back to him, why don't you go ahead and hit me with some closing statements so I can package them up and give him a call real quick.
Yeah, Todd, you have heard a lot of exciting Nintendo 64 controller colors today, but only one of them is both the people's color and an exciting new direction forward, and that is atomic purple.
Twilight's last gleaming, more like what so proudly we hailed at Biden's green extreming.
Great. Matt?
To quote Joseph Reticulated Python Biden, I don't see our country in terms of blue states and red states. We are the United States. And what better way to unite those states but under something that I'm sure Joseph Biden would probably agree with? We want to be a colorblind America. That sounds like a Joseph Biden quote.
That is, yeah. I don't like that.
just to pop Biden on the way by one more time. I think he'd be into that.
Don't tread on me. More like don't dread on me and these new exciting colors. While I give, that one wasn't good. They got
That
worse
was a
as it went
stretch.
on. Yeah, it was pretty bad. While I go call Joseph Biden, you all just take a second here in this conference room to give each other some good vibes.
Guys, I'm not going to lie. This might be the hardest good vibes I've had to do. Because I don't think extreme green or gray are good options. But you guys argued them with heart and conviction.
There it is.
And I will applaud your efforts and your determination in spite of these insurmountable odds you have to overcome with such bad picks.
You bastard. Yeah, Kyle, fuck you. Yeah, I mean, obviously atomic purple's the right answer. Obviously, everybody knows that. It's an easy chump answer. You suck. You did a good job.
I asked you guys if we wanted to take atomic purple off the table, and
You
you
did
said
a
it
good
wasn't
job.
as clear cut an answer as the straight line piece. So
Yeah.
I have no regrets.
You did a great job. You honed in on the nostalgia of the 90s, which is the entirety of the N64. It's why the atomic purple N64 controller is like $500 on eBay, right? Like, and all of these things are super expensive. Matt, also, I didn't expect you to come in with gray, and I really liked your answer to gray, excluding Making America Gray again. I don't
that
like
part sucked. Yeah,
I can really answer the good vibes. I will say, like, extreme green is a good way to answer atomic purple without saying it, without it answering atomic purple.
Yeah.
And like, if we're all being real with ourselves, gray is actually like the Nintendo color.
Yeah. Well, and like we all had a gray controller. We all had a purple atomic purple controller. So yeah, great first season as our first episode of the season as always, guys.
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, same thing that you guys said. Purple atomic, clearly the right answer. Extreme green, great answer. You know, like if you can't take purple atomic, extreme green's probably the next one I want. Actually, I'm more of a dark green guy myself, but lime green, very cool as well.
We'll talk about it in the post show. I didn't have an atomic. I had the dark green.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it in the post show, but great times. I really enjoyed this episode. There were at least 3 times that we were all just yelling over each other, and I don't think any of those 3 times had anything to do with N64 controllers.
No,
and I think
sure
that is
didn't.
the mark of a good debate this season opener. So good jobs all around, except for you, Todd.
No, you should be mad at me for what I've done. You're going to feel worse after I say these next series of sentences. So I talked to Joseph Biden about
Joseph Robin Hood Biden.
Yeah, Joseph Robin Hood. Man, listeners who may just be catching this episode for the first time, I'm sorry. We don't usually do this, but sometimes we do this. Anyway, I was talking to the current administration, which I voted for and I would vote for again, just about their decision in this question. And so I'm going to go through who wasn't selected. So first off, Andrew, you were not selected with the extreme
that's
green.
surprising.
Now, well, here's what it was. So I opened up with the extreme green branding for Parks and Rec and loved it. Dude, loved it. And then I was like, well, hey, we want to do something and like make the healthcare system like click a little bit better. And then I just heard, just like screaming and rumbling in the background. Like it sounded like someone took a Werther's original and was like rubbing it over the phone receiver. And I just couldn't hear anymore. So can't be extreme green. Unfortunately, the other color we're not going with is going to be gray. We're not going with gray. And so here's why. So I started sharing what that option was. And I said, well, hey, we've got an option on the table where we don't have to change anything. We can just kind of let things stay the same and how they've always been. And we only need to tweak things a little bit. And this administration got pretty excited about that, about the idea of not really changing much, just a little bit of things. However, when I pitched the idea that we were going to make Space Force atomic purple, dude was jazzed, and we were all in on that idea.
It's got atomic in the name.
Suddenly, that was just what it was. So, as everyone did say in the good vibes, Kyle, the answer is atomic purple. Certainly correct answer today. America is we're going to get rid of one of those, either red, white, and or blue. Atomic purple. That's what we got.
Red, white, and atomic purple.
Great.
The classic atomic purple blooded Americans.
We did it. We saved America, guys.
We did it.
With that, thanks for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. And hey, if you're interested in just more of this year, consider checking out our YouTube channel at Debate This Cast. There you'll find just entire swaths of our episode backlog and also past streams that we've had. A good example would be we did a live stream of Doki Doki Literature Club to thank all of you listeners that left us some reviews during our Spooktacular Express last year on Spotify and other podcast apps. Also, if you want to continue supporting the show, please find us on Patreon. Gets you access to the Discord if you join in at our first tier. Second tier gets you access to show notes and our post show. Commission your own episodes for flavor text. So that is the best way to support the show, and we love all of you that continue to do that. Until next time, I'm Todd Thomas.
I'm Kyle for Atomic Purple Mountain's Majesty Harper.
I'm Andrew. Hey, remember the time Matt said that he was going to reverse Pleasantville us, Henderson?
And I'm Matt, 50 States of Gray. Cole.
Ooh. And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, You can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.